Good afternoon. It is 12:30 right now, so I usually have lunch around this time. This morning I had an egg with extra egg whites. I usually don't measure it, I just kind of pour as needed and kind of figure out how hungry I am in the morning. But 99% of the time in the morning, I usually have an egg with extra egg whites, and then I have like some fruit, whatever fruit we have. Today I just had like green grapes, and lately I've been on a stuffed salmon kick. So I've been getting this stuffed salmon from Sam's, and I've been eating this with like a whole bag of broccolini. And then sometimes if I'm still hungry after that, I'll eat another fruit. But today I think I'm gonna eat the broccolini with some cauliflower rice, and we'll see how full I am after that. But yeah, so I already air fried this. I put it in there. I've been really enjoying this the last like week or so. I usually just buy food, and then if I keep wanting to eat it, I just keep eating the same meals over and over again. So the thing with your meals is that you want to make sure you have a substantial amount of protein each time you eat. Based on what your goals are, based on what your weight would be. For me, personally, I try to aim for about 40 grams of protein, spread out across like 4 meals. But for my breakfast, because I usually don't get the full 40 because I eat breakfast like right before I work out and I don't want to be too full. Somewhere in between like my third and my last meal, I'll have maybe like extra cottage cheese, or I'll have a bite of something else with protein in it so that it kind of makes up for that first meal. But my goal usually is about like 150, 160 grams of protein. And because I've been cutting, I feel like I need that little extra protein since I'm not eating as many calories as I would be if I was like in maintenance or if I was trying to bulk or something. You basically, whatever your goal weight is, you essentially want to get as close to that many grams of protein. So if you weigh 160 pounds and you want to get to like 140, you would try to aim for at least 140 grams of protein each meal, every day. You basically, on top of that, you add lots of fruits and vegetables. And, you know, you should still be eating your carbs, you know, like whatever you want, potatoes, pasta, bread, whatever. Just, you have to make sure that you're staying within your calorie range also. And calorie range, generally speaking, if you're starting out, you want to have, you want to multiply your goal weight by about like 12. And then if you eat that for a few days and you're like, dang, I'm still really hungry, or maybe it's too much for you, then you adjust it based on that. But there's no like one set number for everybody, even if you weigh the same amount as somebody else, because it's all about preference, and it's also about just individually our bodies work different. So some people need more fats than carbs. It just depends on what you like eating. Some people are allergic to avocados, so you can't eat that. Some people are allergic to eggs, so they couldn't eat that. And so you kind of have to cater your meals basically to like what you eat. I love yogurt, so for my third meal later, you'll see that I usually have like a big bowl of yogurt with fruit, applesauce. Brian detests yogurt. He won't eat it. He hates the smell of it. You just gotta make your meals for you, and that's also what's gonna make you the most consistent too. So if you're looking up diets, or you're looking up some sort of program and they're telling you, hey, you have to eat these foods only, or you know, something that's very specific for like a very small group of people who are actually gonna eat those foods, you're not gonna keep going. You're gonna quit after a couple weeks and be like, this is horrible. The key is to eat the foods you like and make sure that you're staying within those ranges of calories and protein. Don't have to count your carbs and fat as long as you're staying within your calorie range. So a lot of times people are talking about things like macros. Well, macros is just a fancy word for carbs, fats, and protein. So if you're hitting your calorie goal for the day and you're also hitting your protein for the day, generally speaking, the fats and carbs will kind of fall into place on their own, and it's just extra work and more confusing if you try to throw in 2 more numbers. I don't tell clients to count all 4 of those. I generally just say, make sure your calories are in check, and then make sure you're eating enough protein. All right, I changed my mind. I was about to get out the cauliflower, but I don't think I feel like eating that, so I'm actually just gonna stick with this bag of broccolini. I love broccolini. It's really great. Love it so much more than broccoli. I like broccoli, but broccolini is where it's at. So I'm gonna just eat the entire bag with the salmon, and that'll be my lunch for today. But, yep. Okay, so one other thing I was gonna mention was that I bought a rotisserie chicken earlier, and I love the wing part of the chicken, and so I literally just ate like the 2 wings that were on this. And I wanted to take a couple seconds to also just remind you guys that when you go throughout your day and you're eating little bites here and there, or it's like a lick or of like peanut butter, or like you go to Costco and you eat whatever sample they have, those calories still count. So it's not just, you know, the calories that you eat when you're having the food right in front of you, but it's the calories that you're also not thinking about. So even condiments like ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise on your sandwich, those little tiny things that you think aren't that much, they all add up throughout the day. So when you're counting your calories, you have to make sure that you're taking those things into account too. All right, so most of you probably already have heard of it in some capacity, but creatine, definitely need creatine in your diet. It's not just for building muscle or increasing your reps in the gym, but just for daily function, all the stuff your body needs to function. Creatine really helps with that. You can Google it, look it up yourself, and you can read up on the benefits, but really great. I definitely recommend that you get some. Generally, it's not too like, what was I gonna say? The brand really doesn't matter too much. Just creatine monohydrate, it's totally fine. I just buy the one from Walmart because it's like the cheapest one. Sometimes if another brand is on sale, I'll get it, but it's all the same. So don't be fooled by companies trying to sell you something that's like twice as expensive. It all works the same. So generally, I just use this. This is a new one, so I'm gonna have to find the scooper in here, but I usually have like a sparkling water, and then I just try scoop it, and then I drink the water, and it just goes down pretty smooth. I tried taking, just a little warning, so there is a recommendation sometimes where if you haven't gotten like a lot of sleep, a lot of people will say like, hey, take extra creatine and it'll just help you with like your focus and just memory and just brain function and all that. But I took like an extra, I think 2 scoops one day. So I took like 3. So I took like 15 grams, and my stomach hurt so bad, and like ended up having to go to the bathroom and all that. So I personally don't recommend it. I would just take the usual 5 grams every day, no matter what, but you do you. There you go. Most of the time I don't measure my stuff, but for yogurt and applesauce, I usually do just because I can't eye it that well. So just to make sure that I'm getting what I want, like as far as protein out of it, and that I'm not putting too much stuff, I measure out my yogurt every day. The key tip is that you want to make sure if you're going to measure that you end up using the grams. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I don't know if that's showing up, but I use grams because on the nutrition label sometimes it'll put like half cup, and then you'll like put it into like a measuring cup, but that's usually not like exact. So you want to make sure, like, especially if you're choosing something like peanut butter to measure, you want to make sure that you're measuring it with grams to make it the most accurate. And if you know, you know, gold kiwis are 10 times better than the green ones. And it's not the prettiest thing, but it does the job. So this is my third meal of the day. So we had a football party the other day and somebody brought these 2-bite brownies. And I like to freeze them to eat them, but this is proof that you can eat the foods that you enjoy and still be on a cut and not gain weight, as long as you know how to keep your calories in check. So this is not 2 bites for me. This is more like 6 or 7 bites, but I love these. These are so good. Some of us have these like trigger foods where if you have them in the house, you're more likely to eat them. So for me, it really depends on what kind of season I'm in with, like what I'm eating and things that I want to eat. But a lot of times I'll just not have this type of stuff like in the house. But if it does creep in, or if the kids want to eat something and I have it there for them, I usually have this like rule for myself where I'll take maybe like 3 or 4 bites. So they've been eating nachos a lot, and what I'll do is I will just have like literally like 3 or 4 bites of nachos. I'll make the bite like exactly the way that I want it, like the exact amount of like tomatoes and queso on the chip, and then I'll make sure that every bite is like worth the calories of what I'm eating, and I'll have it that way. But you can still enjoy the food that you want. You just have to be able to create some type of boundary for yourself. Okay, last meal, weighing my chicken because I'm not good at eyeing this stuff. I think I'm actually gonna add some cottage cheese to mine too, just because I kind of have a taste for it right now. But it's chicken with a bagel salad with cucumbers, tomatoes. So the thing with salad is that it's good for you, but because of the dressing, depending on what you choose to use, you're going to be adding the calories back into your salad. So just because it's a salad doesn't necessarily mean that it's quote unquote healthy. You want to make sure that you're either not using a ton of the dressing, or you're picking a dressing that's lower calorie. So just be careful when you decide to buy salad like from a supermarket or like a fast food place. Just because it's salad doesn't necessarily mean that it's your best option.